Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story has been sent over by a close friend, Darrell, over at Midwest Dogman Sightings and Research, and is actually a Sasquatch encounter from somebody quite close to Darrell within his family circle. Obviously, we have to change the names of those involved to protect their identity. What I can say, guys, after speaking with Darrell about this particular encounter, the guys involved are very, religious, church-going, God-fearing folks who really don't have any particular interest or knowledge on the cryptid realm that we all listen to on a regular basis. So do bear that in mind. Without further ado, I'd like to title this story Sasquatch in the Woods. Let's get straight into that. Hi DMT. I got the info from my cousin's husband. This encounter took place south of Hernando, Mississippi on October in 2016. My cousin's husband and 3 of his friends were scouting an area to hunt for the up-and-coming deer season. They had been scouting a large area of private land. It was about 3 in the afternoon. They had stopped to rest when they heard a loud squeal. He said it sounded like a hog was in a pissed off mood. Only one of the men had brought a handgun. The other 3 only had hunting knives. He said the men just sat still, hoping that this hog would not come running out of the brush and charge them. As wild hogs, do have a tendency of doing this, they just kept quiet. But then the squeal got louder and louder and closer. So the man with the handgun stood up, pulled his pistol, and scanned the area as to see in which direction this hog was coming from. Just south of the men was a large area of thick brush, and it was shaking violently. About 5 seconds later, a small hog came running out of the brush. The 4 men started to laugh, one of the men stating, "That's a killer." The little hog was hauling ass right into another thicket across from them. Then a loud squeal came from that direction. The men just stood there, not knowing what was happening. One of the men said to the others, "Let's go check it out." As they approached the thicket that the small hog had run into, they stopped dead in their tracks. They could not believe what they were looking at. My cousin's husband described it as a 9-foot tall chimpanzee. As they were walking toward the thicket, he said this thing literally stood up and its back was facing them. It just started to walk away, carrying a piglet right under its arm. It did not even look at the men, let alone pay any mind to them. But they saw it. I asked him to describe it the best way he could. He said the hair was a sandy brown colour. It had long arms, big hands. It had very, very, very short neck. Almost no neck at all. It had thinner hair on the head and butt. And he said they could see skin and that it was dark grey. It almost looked like leather. It must have been rolling around in the mud. I asked him how he knew this. He stated that it looked to have dried mud all down its back, from the back of its neck to the tailbone. It was a different colour, almost light grey. I asked him about the head, and he said that it was rounded on the top and looked like it had real short hair. The hair on its arms and legs were much, much longer. I asked about how much would you say it weighed, and he said with its height and bulk of its shoulders and massive thighs, it must have been close to 450 pounds, if not more. And it was just pure bulk. He said it walked fast. It didn't run, but it was fast. They watched it until it disappeared over a small ridge. Then, the men asked each other at the same time, "Did you see that? What was that?" The men started back to the spot where they had heard the squealing originally. One of the men walked over to that thicket and yelled for the others to come over, as he saw what he was seeing. I was told that this was utterly gross. Blood was all over the place, literally parts of hogs scattered all about. My cousin's husband told the other men that there was no way that thing got to the other thicket and grabbed up that piglet and did this all within just a few seconds without us seeing it move. These other hogs were literally torn apart by something else. There had to have been two. They did not stick around to find out, of course, nor did they hunt that area that season. I asked him about the Dogman. His reply was, "What is Dogman?" I told him and described it to him. His reply again was, "Oh, you mean those creatures they have been seen around Taylor?" I said yes. He believes that is nothing but a wives' tale and rumours just to scare people. I asked him what did he think they saw. He said, straight away, a Bigfoot. I replied, "How do you know? People think that is an old wives' tale. How can you say that this would exist and that no other cryptid can?" And the next question I got was what was a cryptid. I had to explain to him and told him of some stories in the areas around Taylor, Mississippi. I asked him to do some homework and then get back to me with what he had found out. He lives around 45 miles northeast of Taylor, Mississippi. As the crow flies, only 55 miles by road. I hope the listeners enjoy this encounter. Regards, Darrell. Wow. Thank you so much, Darrell, for sending over that encounter. A very interesting and I'm sure terrifying encounter for your cousins there. Let us know what you think in the comments below, guys. As ever, please do like and share. And remember, folks, be safe, not sorry.